This afternoon, the Senate Education Committee heard debate and testimony on a bill that would prohibit sex education of all types prior to the 5th grade within the Idaho school system. Bill sponsor, Republican Senator Ben Tays, says that the idea, it's rooted in an email he received, concerns from the Boise area.
While I don't believe we have a widespread problem here in Idaho, I did receive an alarming email from an Idaho citizen who pointed out that in Boise's A More Equitable City for Everyone report, there is a concerning goal to, quote, collaborate with the Boise School District to establish sex education at pre-K through 12th grade.
Did you talk to anybody in the Boise School District, the superintendent, or anyone about this report to get their perspective on whether or not it was legitimate?
No, Mr. Chair, no, and it's not meant to be any kind of an attack. It's just a matter of fact that a document says that that's a goal.
So, Brian, people probably at home are asking, what is this report?
So this is the More Equitable City for Everyone report. We talked about this like a couple of years ago, right? This is something that put together by Mayor McLean when she first became mayor of Boise, and it was put together over months and released in April. But this is one of those things that she talked about in 2020 that shortly after she released these reports to the public, in no way, she said, these become policy just like that. These are just mere suggestions that people said, hey, here's what I'd like to see happen across the city. And there's 6 of these out here. None of them actually became policy. But that question about whether or not he actually asked, Senator Tays actually asked somebody from the Boise School District, said no. Interesting.
Well, there actually happened to be somebody in the room from the Boise School District. Let's hear from Nancy Gregory, who's on the Boise School Board of Trustees.
I went through the curriculum, pre-K through 5th grade, found no sex education involved, mostly safety. And the document that he's referring to is a community study that was instituted by our mayor when she first came into office. It was with no collaboration with the school district at all.
So this has been a report, Brian, that's been quoted several times. Again, it was kind of just a community survey type thing, not binding. Basically, none of these things really even happened, to be honest. But anyways, it passed and will now go to the full Senate.
All right. Okay, Joe. So how about what sex education is in Idaho? It's not mandated curriculum in Idaho, by the way. In 1970, lawmakers put that responsibility on families and churches. However, school districts can decide on their own if they want to add it to the curriculum, and by default, that decision is made by parents. But schools can only complement and supplement those standards they learn at home and at church, with a major emphasis on abstinence. Idaho does have an opt-out policy, too. Parents who wish to have their kids excused from any sexual education must fill out a written request to the school district. Let's say with West Ada, for example, the largest school district in the state. Their policy says health education happens at the middle school level. In West Ada, that's 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. Parents will be notified in advance of the topics like HIV, AIDS, or sex ed, and in what classes they come up in, like biology, sociology, or personal safety classes. Parents can preview the materials as well. They can decide to opt their kids out. And again, that's beginning in 6th grade. That curriculum and materials, for the most part, follows the health education content standards set up by Idaho's Department of Education. And under the growth, development, and family life section for grades 3 through 5, that'd be on the left, and 6 through 8 on the right, they both begin with a healthy family is vital to the well-being and successful development of children and youth, others say adolescents, and they both end with information should be factual, medically accurate, and objective. The difference between those two sections is in the middle. Up to 5th grade, instruction includes the stages of life, changes that occur during puberty, and changes in relationships with others that accompany social development, healthy relationships, and information regarding growth and development. But 6th through 8th, well, they add this phrase: acceptance of self and others, healthy relationships and sexuality, consequences of sexual activity, encouragement of abstinence from sexual activity, sexual transmitted diseases, and methods of disease and pregnancy prevention. But again, that's not until 6th grade. Bottom line, Senator Tays' bill says sex ed of any type shouldn't be happening before 5th grade. And as you heard from the Boise School District trustee, and as we've seen based on Idaho's content standards, it's really not. But also, that bill passed the Senate 6-2.